for all your pastry.
Consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country, and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. Amen. Good morning. Please be seated. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Just a second. Yes, Clerk.
Thank you. Correction and approval of record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 15th June 2021.
Thank you very much. Good morning, honorable members, and good morning, honorable ministers, members of the press, and everybody here in present. Welcome back to yet another sitting of this session. Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of, sorry, please, I'm sorry, thank you. Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of Tuesday, the 15th of June, 2021 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move a motion for correction and approval of the said record of votes and proceedings? Thank you. Yes, let me take Jara West. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to move the motion that the records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Tuesday, 15th June 2021 be corrected and adopted.
Thank you. Lower Salum, seconder.
Thank you, Ma. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, the 15th of June, 2021 be approved. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So please, can we have the corrections? Can you come on? Observations, corrections from honorable members. Page. Yes, I'll take your observations. Go ahead, page 1, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Page 1, order paper 2, continuation of consideration stage. It says order 72. We just remove the S. And in 3, it's the same thing. It says order 72. It should be order 72. Thank you.
On page 1 from any other honorable member before we proceed to page 2? Okay, thank you. We go to page 2. Any more observations on page 2? Lower Fuladu? No? Page 2? Okay. Are we all satisfied with page 2? Page 3, yes, Lower Fuladu.
Yes, page 3, the attendance still.
Yes.
Number 5, Honorable Lamin F.M. Konta was present yesterday. Number 9, Honorable Lamin J. Sane was present. Number 18, Honorable Fakeva L.N.L. Koli was present, Kiang West. Okay, if you come to correction of votes and proceedings of the sitting held on Tuesday, 15th June 2021, instead of Monday, 14th June 2021.
You know, Honorable, yesterday was Tuesday, so we were looking at the records of the preceding day, which was Monday the 14th. So I think we are correct. Are we? Honorable members, am I right? Yes, I think so. So Monday the 14th is correct because we were looking at, it is today that we are looking at the records of the 15th. Thank you. Yeah, Honorable Member for Talinding, I think you wanted to raise the issue that has already been raised. Yes, Combo East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Number 10, the Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet was present yesterday. Thank you.
That is taken care of? Yeah, thank you. Any more? Yes, Karan Lai, Fonyi Karan Lai.
Yeah, just what I wanted to say, Madam Speaker, is, you know, this mistake is all because of when members come, they forget to register electronically. That's the problem. When they come, they have to register. This is why we have a lot of people in the absence while they are present. So they forget to register when they come. So they should be reminded.
Yes, Sabah Sanyal.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to take you on point 1, the caption. As it is recorded here, correction of votes and proceedings. I believe it should be correction of record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Monday, 14 June 2021.
More observations on page 3? Yes, Nyanija, page 3.
Yes, page 3, just like as he raised, and if you go further, even if you flip to page 4, like what used to happen, question put and agreed to, then the motion comes as it is in the previous records. Like when we are correcting the records of vote and proceeding, I think the format that was adopted there is completely different as it is put here today. So they can reconcile this one with the previous records, then see what is best suited. Thank you.
I look at it, but I'm not sure whether there's any, whether the format is different. But all I know is that yesterday we were looking at records of the previous day, which was the 14th of June. Like today is Wednesday, we are now looking at the records of yesterday, the 15th of June. But that notwithstanding, we will take note. Thank you. Page 4. Sorry, thank you. Yes, Woolley is, sorry, page 4.
4 is same. The first sentence is the record of votes, not the votes. The record of record.
Appears, so let's generalize it. Wherever the votes and proceedings appear, it will be corrected to read the record of votes and proceedings, so that at least it will take care of all. Lower Fuladu, thank you.
Yes, page 4, consideration stage number 6. Yes, if you go to the second line, the commission may, whenever it deems appropriate, appoint experts to assist in gathering information, conduct research, instead of assist it in. So the it should be striked out. Thank you.
Let me just read that. You said the commission may, whenever it deems appropriate, appoint experts to assist it. Your observation was on the word it, am I right? For it to be deleted. We will, I don't think so, but we'll check the records and correct it. You see, the corrected version will be circulated, and if it is not there, we will delete it. So at the end of this exercise, we'll just say with amendments, and everything that is amended will be reflected in the amended records. Any more corrections? Yes, Honorable Member for Basse, page 4.
Yes, page 4. We know on page 4 that clause 52 stand part of the bill. And we have known that 52.1 is redrafted. We don't know from the report whether it stand part of the bill or it don't stand part of the bill. Was it mentioned?
We had a good exercise yesterday on this. Thank you very much. Yes, Sani Mentereng.
Yes, page 4, number 3. I believe you have questions put. I believe it is a single question, not questions. Number 3, questions put that clauses 47, 48, and 49 stand part of the bill. I believe it is a single question. Hmm? No. It's a single question. It's question put. Huh?
Is there. Any more observations on 4? Please, can we have one meeting? Page 4, honorable members. Okay, page 5. Page 5. Yes, sorry, Woolley is.
Page 5, 11, where you have after auditing, then they have in clause. That is not necessary there. Then the heading of the clause 65, then it continues. Then in 12, it says clauses, then he mentioned all the clauses and said stands part. It's just stand part. We take off the S.
Page 6. Yes, Woolley is.
Yes, page 6 also, on 16, that clause is 76. It's just clause 76. It's one clause. And when you go to the third line, you'll see 1 year. We take off the S on the years. It's 1 year. Thank you.
Any more observations on page 6? No? Okay, page 7. Page 7. Yes, Woolley is.
7, the last paragraph on the adjournment. At 23 minutes after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we should put a comma. The assembly was adjourned.
On 7.
Can I take you back?
Yes,
No. Page 6, paragraph 17 is clumsy. And it's not saying what happened here.
Your amendment was not captured there.
And this.
Am I right?
And the gift, donation, they were not deleted.
There was something about, if you remember,
They did not delete them.
the spelling of the word money.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that one is there. But also, the
It's not captured.
It's not captured. But
Check it.
Yeah. Yes.
Can we please allow him, Honorable, let him address the chair so that we know, so that the table office will No, it's you.
The correction
Woolly West, can you?
the correction is Moneys. But what I'm saying, it is saying that gift between donation and own was between gifts and grants was deleted. Oh, okay, but gift, donations, grants were not deleted at all. They were not deleted. They were left there.
I don't know, but I don't think the amendment was for a deletion, but for the commands. If I remember, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Honorable, can you just allow those who were present yesterday to just rectify this, and then we'll allow you? Okay. Can somebody just recollect? But I think it was not, or they were not to be deleted. But
no, they were not deleted.
No, they were not to be deleted. No. That was the proposal.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So can you correct that then? Thank you. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That was the correct.
Madam Speaker, I'm okay.
That was it.
Afterthoughts? Okay. In that case, can we then proceed? It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, the 15th of June 2021 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. And thank you, Clerk. Sorry, we may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for oral answers by the Honourable Minister for Information and Communication Infrastructure.
Thank you very much, honourable members. As usual, today is questions for oral answers in accordance with clause 41(1) of the standing orders. May I just remind honourable members that standing order clause 43 limits supplementary questions to 7 in total, 2 for the honourable member asking the original and 5 from amongst other members. And on that note, we will now proceed with the honourable members scheduled for today to give their oral answers. Thank you. Clerk, we may proceed. Thank you.
Question for oral answers by the Honourable Minister for Information and Communication Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honourable Minister for Information and Communication Infrastructure by the Honourable Member for oral reply. Sorry. Question number 122 of 2020 by the Honourable Member for Ilyasa. It's 122 of 2020. Sorry, 2021.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, can the Minister for Information and Communication Infrastructure inform this August Assembly why Gamtel is now losing his potential customers throughout the country, even though they are rejected? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Gamsel are losing their customers and potential customers due to the following factors. As for Gamsel is losing its customers because it is operating a legacy network infrastructure, most of which was deployed since 2001 when Gamsel was set up. The company has not done any meaningful network upgrade since 2013. Gamsel's network coverage is not countrywide, and its customers do not have a seamless connection throughout the country. As a result of these inconveniences, most customers therefore had to drop Gamsel services. Also, Gamsel is operating an unstable billing system that offers only basic voice and data services, and it does not offer value-added service that gives customers value for money, and therefore customers shift to other service providers. However, Honourable Speaker, in an attempt to address its current network and billing challenges with a view to regain its position in the telecoms market and become a viable institution, Gamsel, under the leadership of its board of directors and with the blessing of my ministry, has entered into a public-private partnership PPP with Spacewide Innovations, an IT company based in the UAE, for a total modernization of Gamsel's network. The partnership seeks to modernize Gamsel's network to the latest technology. Thus, the modernization project will roll out 4G, 5G technology countrywide with a state-of-the-art billing system. The implementation of the project has started, and it is believed that at the completion of the project, Gamsel will be in the forefront of providing excellent and innovative services to its customers. Regarding Gamtel's services continue to suffer serious setbacks due to the following factors. All network infrastructure, which includes underground and overhead cables. The copper network infrastructure has been underground for more than 30 years, and it has become obsolete. This has affected its ability to perform in meeting the expectations of customers. The service suffers intermittent breakdowns, causing dissatisfaction to customers, thus forcing them to quit. There is also a network expansion on copper network. To maintain the service, an expansion is required to extend the services to other areas where the service does not exist. Most of the new settlements, both in the urban and rural areas, did not have the copper network infrastructure. The expansion could not be done due to the following. One, decline in the demand for fixed-line voice services. This includes office lines and home lines. There is also the problem of obsolete technology, high cost of copper cable and its accessories, and also high cost of maintenance. However, Honourable Speaker, to help address these challenges, the management of Gamtel, through the guidance of its board of directors, has developed a turnaround strategy in 2019, mainly to maintain its services and to improve its quality in meeting the needs and expectations of its customers. This is done through the rehabilitation of the network infrastructure all over the country, which has helped to restore some of the telephone services around the country. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Ileasa, do you have any supplementary questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. And then, Minister, how soon Gamtel is going to provide efficient services for its customers? How soon?
Gamtel or Gamsel? Both?
Both of them.
Okay. The network modernization project for Gamsel is ongoing. This morning I was briefed that a number of service solutions have already been provided. There is currently a shipment on the way of some of the equipment. I think they have set up a new work plan that should actually be actualized before the end of the year. Now, regarding Gamtel, there is currently the expansion going on regarding the data technology since the liberalization of the gateway, where all the service providers now have a gateway monitored by the Public Utilities and Regulatory Authority, PURA. Gamtel is now expanding its spares in data network by providing internet to homes and also internet to offices. Currently, all the government offices are being connected to the Gamtel infrastructure, significantly improving its revenue base. And they are now also implementing the tower policy, the tower project, which will provide internet to homes, in addition to the broadband infrastructure that a number of customers are connected on. And I'm sure most of you probably who are connected to Gamtel fiber network, these days you can see the significant improvement because of the maintenance that I talked about and the service improvement initiatives that are going on. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And the Minister, would you be able to tell us how much money is going to cost Gamtel so that you can convince these customers? My question is, can you tell us how much money is going to cost you to prove this network for its customers, please? Thank you.
Okay. I don't know that offhand, but I know that for Gamtel, the medium to short-term investment plan was supposed to cost about $5 million for the network upgrade and expansion of the broadband infrastructure. And the good thing is, right now, for example, most of the loops are already closed. For example, I mean, if there are problems, say, within the network, you can do a bypass, say, from one route to the other. All those loops are closed now, so that was a significant upgrade. What is now left is to have the constituent equipment, like the fiber access terminals and the rest. These are technical terms that will make customers connect to the infrastructure, and those ones are already costed. I can provide a written statement to you on that, how much it will definitely cost the institution, because wherever you have the broadband infrastructure, you should be able to have connection to the facility. And now, I mean, those congested areas now are also being improved, but I can provide you for that one. Now, the space-wide Gamsel partnership actually comes at no cost to the Gamsel in terms of participating in through funding. It is the investor that is supposed to provide all the funds, and then they go into a revenue sharing within a period. So we are hopeful that if that is materialized within a year, all the issues regarding network problems and congestions with Gamsel should also be resolved.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll take additional from Opanyomi, Honorable Member for Opanyomi. Honorable members, just remember that standing orders allow for 5. So I've already listed the 5 that had raised their tags earlier on. So I'll have to go by my list. Thank you very much. Yes, Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister said that the gateway is now being liberalized and is being monitored by the PURA. And Honorable Minister, why are we losing more money in the gateway like previously when it was managed by MGI compared to now it's being liberalized? What's the problem?
I just add one or two observations or make one or two observations. Let us all remember that these are supplementary questions. Let's try to ask for clarification in case there is any ambiguity. Let us not try to bring you new elements that would require maybe further research. That's general. I'm just talking generally. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, this was said by the Minister himself on the floor just now. So I was just trying to
Why I
him to
said
clarify.
it's general. I'm just making a general statement and appeal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Upper Nyomi. Let me say that when the gateway was managed by MGI, all other voice of services, these are the social media apps like the WhatsApps and all other, calling facilities were actually blocked. As a result, every room was going through national calls at a very high rate above the international or regional, pricing system, in our area here. Now, following the change of government in 2017, of course, the democratic norm anywhere now is to allow these services to be used in country. And you can see even within the Gambia now, sometimes people use WhatsApp to call each other. So there is more rush towards data market than the voice. And this voice actually is a dying market in the telecoms industry. If you understand what it is, people are not actually using phone, in Europe and many, countries in Northern America. In fact, voice actually is becoming like part of the value services where, it's like a package. You have your line and then, free services are given to you on voice. This is to encourage people to be calling each other using voice services. But, it's a dying market. What people are now going for, because of, the trend and also the development in the telecoms industry, people are more into data, where, services are more kind of harmonized and then cheaper in terms of the delivery, but also rewarding and profitable for the service providers. And that is why you can see now, even in the Gambia, providers like Africell and QCell, their data market is almost equal to the voice. So it is a dying market. However, let me also say, because in your question you talk about the gateway and why it was liberalized and why it is losing revenue. This was a commitment by the government of the Gambia since 2013, when we got our first landing station. As a condition, the Gambia government did not have the money to have a landing site, a submarine cable. So the World Bank and the partners came in to support, to provide the funds on condition that, one, the private sector will be the majority shareholder, and which is like, if you look at the ACE equation, I guess Honorable Mbo is very much familiar with this. The private sector owns 51%, and the government, which include Gamtel, Gamsel, and my ministry, own 49%. That's one of the conditions. Now, the second condition was that the gateway should be liberalized. This did not happen until 2017, when the new government came in and they signed new agreements in, I think, March of 2017 with the World Bank for the liberalization. Now, when I took over, I insisted that we should have a monitoring system that will monitor each provider's infrastructure to know how much calls they are making, how much money they are making for revenue assurance and all those things. That is why it was delayed until that was put in place. Now that it is put in place, of course, all the providers have their gateway, and we are monitoring that effectively. Currently, plans are on the way to improve the service, to upgrade it, to ensure that we cover every aspect of the telecoms industry. Thank you.
Honorable members, by way of reminder, clause 43 of the supplementary question, subclause 3, the time taken to ask a supplementary question shall be no longer than 1 minute, and an answer to a supplementary question shall be no longer than 2 minutes. Of course, there's a proviso that this period may be extended at the discretion of the Speaker. I understand and appreciate the fact that to give an adequate response, 2 minutes may not suffice, but please let us bear that in mind so that we will summarize the responses, and equally so just try to summarize the questions and not give a long preamble. Otherwise, the 1 minute will expire by the time one completes his or her sentence. Question, sorry. Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Bakau, supplementary question. Your new.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, according to what I understand from your answer, Gamtel-Gamsel network is not covered nationwide. As Gamtel-Gamsel, as they are the nation's network provider, and as the Minister responsible for information and communications, what's your take in this issue?
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Member for Bakau. I am not happy with it, just like many others. That is why we have put in place initiatives to ensure that these services reach everybody, while the other private sector providers may go in for profit. At some point, the public enterprises, by their nature, are supposed to also provide some kind of public services. And that is why we are taking this very seriously to ensure that the two institutions take their public service functions effectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Honorable Minister, you were told by the guy who asked the question, the Honorable Member for Ilias, said why Gamsel is now losing their potential customers. My question to this is that what's wrong with the broadband network in relation to this? The broadband network in relation to losing your customers?
Well, the broadband network is being expanded from its 2017 rollout plan. When it was provided to the Gambia, I think proper consultations were not done with the technicians. The Ministry of Finance signed the contract, and unfortunately, the contract being signed, it rolled out without proper consultations in 2017. But now, the Gamtel is now fully in charge of this network, and proper technical efforts are being put in place to look at the areas that were lacking in the original plan, and they are being expanded. And we believe that when some of these equipment are provided, especially those that will be responsible to service the service ends, that will cover a lot of areas and a lot of grounds, including other efforts that are being done, like fiber to air and the rest, to cover some of the gray areas and also areas that are not within the reach of the broadband.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in the Minister's response, he made mention about Gamsel, Gamtel now involving providing internet connection to offices and homes. I know the Minister is aware internet connection is very expensive in the country. Many average and also on condition. You buy an amount of data.
Sorry, Honorable, can you go to your question? Remember, that was why I read the relevant section. I mean, the relevant clause. You see, if you spend a lot of time on the preamble, you will not have enough. So just summarize and go straight to your question.
Thank you very much. I think I'm asking the question. If 1 minute elapsed, so stop me. Let me just sit down. Internet with condition is expensive with conditions. You buy data, they say you must use it at this time. If it's not, they stop it. So in your strategy to revive Gamtel, Gamsel, are you putting consideration for the affordability of internet connection to average Gambians? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Busumbala. Indeed, just recently, my ministry and Pura had a very good strategic discussion on the affordability of data, and we want to also include in this discussion the Gambia Consumer Protection Agency to ensure that Gambian customers are fully protected when it comes to data usage and some of the strategies that are being deployed on them according to some of those complaints. But now let me say that because the sector also is in business, all around the world when you are given a data plan, it comes with a timeline, like say month, week, day or so. And if you are a customer, you subscribe to a monthly plan, it is expected that you will use your data within that plan. Some can have unlimited data, some can have a weekly data plan and daily plan. So it depends what services you go for. And that is why also people need to be fully informed on some of those things. But as a government, in terms of the data and its cost, we recognize it is expensive. But this is also due to the fact that data usage in this country is still not also very high at a level that we want it. And because when you are buying the capacity from wholesalers outside of this country, remember, we have the infrastructure, so you have to buy capacity from outside. When you are buying a capacity that is, say, below the average of the usage of Dakar, you will expect that the data cost in Senegal will be far cheaper than the Gambia. And that is one of the problems, that we have as a country. Our size is small and the user, level also is not that very high. As a result, when you are buying, say, 10% capacity, in comparison to, say, 80%, 90%, for other countries in the region, theirs will be cheaper because when you negotiate, there is going to be a likelihood that you will be given a cheaper rate than those that are buying less. So that is one of the reasons why, the data is expensive.
Thank you very much. Well, I heard Serekunda, but he's not on his seat, so I will instead take Funi Jarol.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. In fact, the question to me is all about potential customers losing Gamtel, Gamsel, and which is a fact. Because when you go to the far tail of West Coast, the entire region of that area are losing Gamtel. So I don't know what is your stand to help us, because previously this has never happened. It's happening just now. So I don't know what is the problem. Thank you.
Well, if you, Honorable Member Fonyi Jarol, thank you so much. If you listen to my answer, I said since 2013, no significant investment has been made by Gamsel. And this also was because their revenue was controlled, from State House, where, profit made by these two institutions were dumped in a special account and the central bank, and they had no control over their own money. So when this new government came in, that has stopped, but, new conditions and discussions with the World Bank made it, not necessarily World Bank, but at least with our financiers and our partners, we see that, some of these institutions are really, the scale at which they were going was really unsustainable. So efforts were made to revitalize them, through sound advice from our partners, and that is what is going on. Rather than government taking public money to reinvest it in this, that will come as a loan and debt to the country, we go in for private partnership, private-public partnership, where the private investors will come and then, they will partner with these two institutions. So really, because this is also an infrastructure business, telecoms, every year you have to invest in it to improve. So imagine since 2013 to 2017, no investment was done on the network. So that really explains why, we have this problem. It is like an old infrastructure that they are using, but hopefully, with this new partnership, all those things will come to, an end.
Thank you very much. Now we have exhausted the supplementary questions. So please, we are moving on to question number 123 of 2020 by the Honourable Member for Ilyasa.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, can Honourable Minister for Information, Communication and Infrastructure inform this August Assembly how much money or royalties for the private radios and televisions pays to GRTS? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Let me say that private radio stations and television stations do not actually pay any royalties to the Gambia Radio and Television Services. Thank you.
Have any supplementary questions?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And how did they obtain their license to operate in this country?
How did they
obtain their license to operate this country? To operate in the country.
How do they operate? Okay.
Yes. How do they operate? Thank you.
Okay. Actually, GRTS being a state-owned enterprise under the SOE framework is actually operating on two grounds. One, it can generate revenue from advertisements and also commercials that actually it signs with businesses. But also the government of the Gambia has provided a policy that requires 2.5% of the revenue from the telecom sector being provided to GRTS to cover some of its operational challenges.
Thank you. I am not saying that. I am saying that the private radios, how do they operate? Who gives them the answer to operate in this country? That's my question. I'm in the private radios and televisions. Thank you.
Well, the private radio and television stations, of course, you apply for a license from PURA, which is the Public Utilities and Regulatory Authority. Then they will look at your application. If they have done with the technical review of your application, they will forward that to my ministry to either, give the license or to reject the license application. So that's how they actually operate. The process starts from PURA, it comes to my ministry, and then I will say yes, please, or no. Then the file is sent back to PURA, and then that will be communicated to the applicant. Does that answer your question?
Thank you very much.
How much do they pay? My concern is, how much do they pay? They can't even operate in the Gambia without paying. That's my concern.
Point of order, please. That's exactly what I was going to say. He has exhausted his two questions.
Thank you. You are entitled to only two, and then the rest by honourable member. No, honourable, I think the time that we're also, not concerned, but we want to stick to the rules and the standing orders indicate that the response shall not be longer than 2 minutes. Now, the honourable member for Janjambure, I saw your tag earlier on. Supplementary question.
Honourable Minister, the question I want to ask is, if you want to operate a radio or TV station, what are the processes? What do you pay and who do you pay to?
Yes, the money is paid to GRA, the Gambia Revenue Authority, and that receipt will be given back to Pura, provided that your application has actually, because the application is at different stages. First, you go and pick a form, you apply, that you want a radio station or a TV station, and then it is processed at the level of Pura. It comes to me with an advisory whether to agree or not to agree with the applicant, right, based on the recommendation from Pura, although I am not supposed to be bound, by the, or restricted by the, advices given in that. I can disagree with Pura also. And then based on what I say, either yes or no, if it is yes, then they will write to the applicant to say that your application is successful. Please go and pay the spectrum fee or whatever, the license fee to the Gambia Revenue Authority and bring the receipt of payment. And then that payment will be attached to your license, and then a license framework will be prepared, and then I will sign and return it back to Pura, and then Pura will write to you to say that this is your frequency if you are a radio, maybe 105 point whatever, and that you are supposed to operate within a year or 2 years. I can't remember what the policy says, but hence you are approved, you are given a time frame to start the operation.
Thank you very much. Honourable Member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Minister says that GRTS doesn't earn any royalties from private stations, and we all know that private stations are more extensive in terms of coverage. So if both rely on adverts, I think GRTS will be disadvantaged. What is the Honourable Minister considering in terms of supplementing revenue for GRTS? Is he considering a form of TV license or any other forms of revenue to increase the GRTS income? What is it? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member for Banjul South. That's a very important question, and the issue of TV license was one area that we were looking at. But looking at the tax base also, and also sometimes what it may generate in terms of, public perception and reaction, we thought it necessary to put some of those things on hold for the time being until probably the economy stabilizes and then people understand the constituent values of what the public broadcaster actually is all about, and then we can come up with some of those initiatives. Meanwhile, the public is contributing generously through their taxes on the telecoms revenue. Where 2.5% is allocated to GRTS, even though it is not enough, but I think it is something to start with. Thank you.
But I don't know what it is for, but you already had a chance, and I think in all fairness, if you are not very satisfied, I think you can follow it up with the Honourable Minister, so that at least we'll give others a chance to have a bite of the cherry. Honourable Member for Birkama South. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, after the registration fee from the private radio and televisions, are you aware of any other source of income the government is also enjoying from this thing by way of their corporate and social responsibility?
Well, let me say that private TVs and radios are not bound by any obligation placed on them by government to provide corporate social responsibility. That is their own private initiative that they can do. And I know most of them are doing quite a lot of that, where they do fundraising for victims that actually suffer some accidents. Some of them also, they raise funds for people who are sick. Those are very good initiatives. Also, some contribute to participating in rehabilitation of health centers, schools, and also they give free public announcements for community work. All those things are unquantified in terms of money value, corporate social services that actually they conduct.
Thank you very much. Central Badibu.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, in your response, you said it depends on you to accept or to reject based on the advice from the Pura. Do you reject with a committee, or you alone make the decision? And under which conditions do you make those decisions?
Well, the conditions may vary because, when technicians also do their work and bring in the document, a minister and his team or her team will also have to sit on this and look at it from a robust policy perspective and other, progressive, angles. So we look at a number of things. Sometimes we can return back the file to say that, no, please re-engage the applicant to improve on this. I remember there was a radio station that applied, and then, we have issues with a number of things in the application and the technology that they wanted to deploy, even though, it was accepted by PURA, but we recommended that, they conform to the basic standards in the country, and that has happened. Also, there can be some legal issues also. Sometimes you may have faith-based groups applying for a license, or groups that are really maybe NGOs or whatever, so you need to look at those things and then, see whether they are in line with the policy. So it can be based on a number of things.
Thank you very much. Question number 124 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Upper Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as the world moves into knowledge-based economy, information and data becomes critical assets of any government, especially within its institutions. Can the Honorable Minister for Information and Communication Infrastructure inform this August Assembly about the government's policy on data governance, administration, protection, and sharing?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The government of the Gambia, in a bid to ensure the fundamental protection of human rights to privacy in the digital age, has, through the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure, formulated in 2019 a data protection and privacy policy and strategy approved by Cabinet. The policy aims at, and I quote, laying the foundations of institutional and legal framework for data protection and privacy that will give effect to Section 23 of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, and to express the commitment of the government of the Gambia to ensure the protection of personal data and associated rights of individuals, and in particular, the right to privacy. Also, my ministry has formulated the National Cybersecurity Policy 2020-2024, and under Section 3.1 of this policy, which deals with effective governance, it aims at, and I quote, the government of the Gambia will centralize coordination of national cybersecurity initiatives and promote effective cooperation between public and private sectors. In order to sustain the gains from any such initiatives, a National Cybersecurity Coordination Directorate, NCCD, will be established under the Gambia Information and ICT Agency, GICTA, for formal coordination and information sharing. Regarding the protection of data and sharing, the National Data Protection Policy addresses that by laying requirements for data collectors and processors to implement sufficient safeguards and seeking consent of data subjects, that is the people that they collect data on, when dealing and sharing their data respectively. These objectives of the policy are as follows: to inform the development of data protection and privacy law, to safeguard personal data and the rights to data protection and privacy of individuals. 2, help establish appropriate institutional frameworks to ensure the effective implementation and oversight of a national data protection and privacy law. 3, establish internationally recognized best practices in data protection and privacy law. 4, ensure appropriate safeguards for the processing of special categories of personal data to prevent adverse effects for individuals. 5, ensure additional protections with regards to the processing of personal data on and about children in accordance with Article 10 of the African Charter on Rights and Welfare of the Child, 1990, and possibly for other vulnerable groups and individuals. And 6, establish or identify an independent and impartial national supervisory authority appropriately empowered to sufficiently oversee, monitor, and enforce compliance and safeguarding of the data protection and privacy rights of individuals. On top of that, Honorable Speaker, my ministry has recently completed the formulation of a draft data protection bill, which will be tabled before this August Assembly later this year. This aims to establish a relevant law that governs and regulates data protection and privacy in the Gambia. As per the administrative part, the data protection and privacy policy has tasked the government of the Gambia to establish a data protection and supervisory authority that will preside over this task. And for your information, Honorable Member, the Gambia Consumer and Competition Protection Commission is currently being considered to do this for the government. Thank you.
Very much. Honorable Member for Fatou, do you have any supplementary clarification?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the answers. Now, has these policies been made available to all government institutions and the private sector who are actually data collectors? In fact, some of the private sectors, they collect a lot of data of Gambians, and have you made these policies made to them? My ministry actually collaborates with the GBOS, which is responsible for statistical collection and processing in the Gambia, and even recent statistical activities on data collection in the rural areas in terms of household food security and household poverty. This has already been started to be considered, where through questionnaires, data protection issues will be inserted there. And also, GBOS has a very robust policy on privacy and things like data protection issues when it comes to sharing data that is in their custody. Although these are public documents, but due diligence and care is always put in place, either through formal written request or direct engagement with clear specifications on what you need and what the data would be used for. Thank you.
You can ask a second supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister. Now, how about these international financial institutions that are in this country, but the data they collect on Gambians are actually stored outside this country? Have you made these policies known to them for them to understand what's required of them?
Just recently, my ministry had some very interesting public engagements with the private sector through radio programs and TV discussion programs on data protection and data privacy issues and data policy. And one key component of this policy is to discourage data mining by international companies that are operating either in this country or outside this country, but they have access to specific type of information on customers in the Gambia. Also, we have put in place in the policy a robust data governance mechanism that will ensure that a specific adherence to international standards on processing personal data of individuals who are part of a specific task or purpose. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Minister mentioned that since the government had come up with a policy since 2019, and we all know that policies are just set standards that may or may not be followed. But what stopped the government from bringing up laws because we all know that laws are not only guidelines, but something that must be adhered to. Honorable Speaker, can he tell us why they did not make them law or present it to the Parliament?
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Banjul South. That is very important for the Gambia for many reasons. Yes, policies are very important, but in this case, we have the National Cybersecurity Law that deals with a lot of things on data privacy, protection, and also protection of vulnerable groups. That law is already been formulated, and the bill will come here. We also have the data protection law that we extracted from that policy, because the policy will guide us to know exactly what we need to do. Should we just set up a supervisory body, or should we just make it an accelerated thing where we formulate a law? And actually, you are right. I mean, the policy in itself is not enough without accompanying robust laws that will deal with some of these things. So these two laws will come before this National Assembly. At the level of the Attorney General's chambers, I think the review process has finalized, and we hope that before the end of the year, because the National Cybersecurity Law, data protection law, and all those things will come before here, because these are important triggers even for our partners, in relationship with our partners, that governments want to be assured that their dealings with colleague governments actually is seamless on law, and that where violations happen, appropriate checks and mechanisms are in place to deal with such violations. And this is also very important internationally now, especially looking at cybercrime issues, which are committed most of the time outside of a jurisdiction, but they can affect a country. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Serekunda. Sorry, you were listed earlier on, but you stepped out. So
yeah, thank you very much. I had to meet the Minister of Energy for this third reading of the petroleum bill. I'm sorry that I had to step out so that we can put our house in order. Honorable Speaker, is the Honorable Minister informing this House that there is data governance sovereignty that the government is committed to, and that from henceforth only national institutions will be given the responsibility of gathering and managing data relevant to our citizenry?
Thank you, Honorable Member for Serekunda West. Serekunda, yes. Under our data governance policies, I mean, priority is given to national data collectors, particularly, our state institution, the Central Statistics, or GBOS. However, in some instances, consultancies are done by international consultants where they have access to specified, information. And we are now working with all the ministries to ensure that when international consultancies are to take place, especially as they deal with human rights issues or privacy issues, they should conform with our national data policies, our laws regarding data collection and other policies that we have in place. However, there is one little concern that we have, which is that sometimes you have people on the internet and you want to get access to certain websites or certain apps. You will see that they will ask so many questions, but some of these questions are so long that people will just keep everything and they will tick the button, I agree. So immediately when you say you agree, you actually voluntarily surrender a lot of things to some of those sites, and as a result, they can look at what is called behavioral patterns on the net. and that can lead to also data mining and stuff like that. We have very little control over those things, but when it comes to specific collection of data on Gambians inside the Gambia, the government's policy is to ensure that we are firmly in control of that. Thank you.
We can still take at least 2 additional supplementary questions. If any honorable member wishes to ask a question. No? And then we will proceed. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for Information Communication Infrastructure, for the answers provided to this August Assembly. And I equally thank honorable members also for their questions to the Honorable Minister. You are now released. Clerk, can we proceed with the next?
Questions for oral answers by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
So the Minister of Agriculture is here. Let's take agriculture then. We don't have to waste time.
Can I
Sorry.
observe? We are supposed to have the Attorney General right now. We are supposed to have the Attorney General right now. And he is not here. Have you been informed why he is not here?
Find out, the Assembly will be informed why he's not here. Maybe I don't want to, I'm not holding brief for anybody, but he's not here now, so they'll find out. The table office of the clerk will find out why he's not here, but in the meantime, that should not make us waste time. Let's deal with agriculture, and then he will come and explain why he's not here.
Yes, but this is frequent here, Madam. I think the Assembly should take a stand on this matter. We cannot allow ministers to refuse to answer questions here. And we just keep silent over that. That keeps on repeating itself.
Member, what do you want us to do? You want us to adjourn?
I want the Assembly to take a stand on it.
Pardon?
I want the Assembly to take a stand
and
on
the
it.
Assembly to take a stand on it?
Yes.
Well, I'm not disputing that, but all I want to say is that I don't want time to be wasted. In the meantime, we can deal with agriculture, and then, I don't know, maybe you see, these are administrative hitches. I'm just being informed now that I stand to be corrected. The Minister for Information supposed to stand in for him. I wasn't aware of it. I was expecting the Minister himself because he was here with us yesterday up till after 4. You will confirm that. So I don't know. Honorable Minister, did you have any mandate? Can I?
Honorable Speaker.
Please, please. No, I am not going to take anything on that. We will hear him and proceed, and then the Assembly can take a decision as to what next.
Honorable Speaker.
I am not going to take any interventions on that. We will proceed with the Attorney General who has given authority. Am I right?
But this authority is not
Am I right?
Honorable Speaker.
No, am I right? Honorable Minister for Information, please, can you guide the Assembly so that we know?
We cannot recognize
Guide us so that we know, then a decision will be taken. Unless, Honorable Member for Banjul South, you want to come and take the chair and you preside.
I want to ask.
Otherwise, no, I'm not. Honorable Minister, anything from Justice?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Justice Minister has asked that I actually act on his behalf to answer the oral question sent to his office because of a serious administrative issue that he needs to currently attend to.
You should have informed us. You should have informed us earlier on, before we proceed.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can all of us speak at the same time? I will allow Honorable Member for Woolly West.
Madam, I think in our committee, FPAC, we were establishing rules, one of which is that engagement with the National Assembly takes precedence of everything else. That is one of the rules. And we cannot continue to accept ministers refusing to come here under the cloak that they have something else to do. More important, there is nothing more important than the National Assembly in this country. So that is what I want us to establish from today, that any minister who is supposed to answer questions and fails to come, even if he or she sends anything before that, we will refuse to deal with her when she comes here or him when he comes here. Because National Assembly is the most important institution in this country. It must be recognized as such, otherwise we will not move. And we will not take ministers standing for ministers here, because they cannot answer all the questions that we would want to ask. The Assembly must take a stand from today. If you don't, then we are useless. I'm sorry to say.
Member, I just preside. The decisions are from the Assembly members, honorable members. So if you want to move a motion for a resolution to that effect, you are at liberty to do so with honorable members. So I'll listen to you.
I move a motion that henceforth this National Assembly will deal with no minister who is in absentia.
Get the full text of the motion. Mr. Bajaro. No, we are not taking questions from him. We're dealing with the... Please, can we address the chair? We cannot have side meetings. There's an issue that we're dealing with. Let's try to sort it out. Can we get the full text of your motion?
That henceforth, if a minister has an engagement with this assembly, and he or she is unable to come, first, your office must be informed beforehand. Two, they must tell us a system that they may develop, where if one is unable, the person to represent him or her is adequately informed to come here to represent him or her. Otherwise, we will not deal with any matter coming from any ministry.
Honorable members, you've all heard there's a motion on the floor with regards to the absence of any honorable minister who is expected to be before the National Assembly. Any seconder? Yes, Foni Jarol.
I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that henceforth any minister who fails to attend National Assembly sittings or who cannot, am I right? I want to use your words, I want to quote you correctly, who cannot attend sittings when required to respond to questions should first inform the office of the Speaker beforehand, and two, to inform the Assembly of the authority he or she has given to another authority to represent him or her. Did I quote you correctly?
Yes, we can't make something that's going to be.
If there's any omission, you can write it out so that I read the motion correctly for the records. Maybe you can write it out. We'll give you 2-3 minutes to write out the motion for the records. I don't want to misquote you. Thank you. Pardon? Well, I may be wrong. Otherwise, we will not discuss anything dealing with the minister in abstention. Honorable, can I just, let's finish with the motion.
Madam Speaker.
No, I want to finish with the motion, please.
Observation. Observation.
On the floor, let's deal with the motion, please.
Don't pass the motions without my observation.
No, I overruled that.
There will be a conflict in the standing order.
If you have a point of order, you are entitled to, under the standing orders, to raise it. If you have a point of order, you can refer to the relevant clause in the standing orders. Yes?
Order 48. Standing order 48. 48. 47. Yes. 47.1. The Vice President or ministers may make statements to the Assembly on matters relating to their official responsibilities, which may be either 41. I want to start from 47 going to 48. I say 47.
Then you started the revert to 41.
I'm not saying 41, I say 47, Madam
Yes,
Speaker.
47 is statements by ministers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, what I'm saying is, let's look at the standing order before we make any resolution or any motion here. Because if not, we can have conflict with our standing order. That's my observation.
Honorable, can I just be guided under the provisions for motions so that we will quote the relevant section that this motion is coming under? If you can just browse through your standing orders.
Motion without notice. Yes.
is it 50? Motion without notice goes up to R. So let's quote the relevant
Notice.
Just the relevant section.
This one, motion agreed by the speaker to be a matter of urgent. It is very urgent. If 53K, 53K, exactly, 53K. 53 yes, and then K. K is only one.
Madam, we can use 53K. 53K. Yes. K. What is this?
Oh yes, that is what the standing orders say, and you are the chairperson of the standing orders committee. So first of all, I have to consider it as a matter of urgency. So I have to agree that it's a matter of urgency. We have to go by the rules all the way. Cannot be half-baked. Yeah, I can. Honorable member for Swapa, Woolley West, can you please just move that you want to move a motion under 53K, and then we go to the substance of the motion. I just
Kick 53K. Okay, can I get it back then? Yes. Madam Speaker, I move that I be permitted to make a motion under 53K. As a matter of urgency, yes.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Well,
you are
I
allowed.
have my paper with you.
And that's the motion that let me read the motion.
Yeah,
I move, I'm in quotes.
Okay.
I hope I'll be able to read his handwriting.
It's very funny.
I move that henceforth, any minister who is unable to attend a session of the Assembly to answer questions should inform the office of the clerk beforehand and should also indicate, come on, help me, the colleague he or she has chosen to represent him or her and deal with the issues on his or her behalf. That is the motion. Any seconder? Yes, Upper Salum.
Yes, I write to second the motion.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, it has been moved that henceforth, any minister who is unable to attend a session of the Assembly to answer questions should inform the office of the clerk beforehand and should also indicate the colleague he or she has chosen to represent him or her and deal with his or her issues on his or her behalf. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. So it means that we're not going to deal with the questions of the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Thank you. Honorable, been, hold on. We have been informed by the Office of the Clerk.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, so I think in this instance, but in future, yes, in future, but as of today, we should have been informed. I should have been informed, and then I will equally inform the Assembly, but I did not receive any information to that effect. So we'll take it. So we will proceed with his questions. Thank you. Sorry, Clerk, can we proceed with the Minister? Attorney General.
Questions for oral answers by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
For which due notices were given to the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice for oral reply. Question number 73 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the process leading to the eventual adoption of a new constitution to usher in the highly desired Third Republic was aborted when it failed to pass the second reading stage in this August Assembly. Would the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice update this August Assembly on measures taken to salvage the situation?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is the answer to the oral question provided by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, who, because of other deeply pressing matters, could not make it to this August Assembly, and he also sent his apologies for not being able to be here in person. I now read the answers provided. A constitution is both a legal and political document, and its failure at the National Assembly is due to political reasons. As a result of the draft failing to pass to the third reading stage, there was an urgent need to initiate political dialogue. In this regard, mediation was seen as the most desirable option. The Attorney General was given cabinet approval to renegotiate and mediate the said draft with the political actors and other stakeholders. The Ministry of Justice is with the belief that international IDEA, being an independent institution and having the expertise in constitutional building processes, is the best partner to accompany us in the mediation process. In this regard, assistance was requested and we are partnering with them in supporting the mediation process amongst the political actors towards the success of the draft constitution. It is important to note that the Ministry of Justice is not developing or creating a new draft. We are mediating on the contentious issues raised by honorable members during the debate of the draft constitution with the aim of reaching a consensus. His Excellency ex-President Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria is engaged as the chief mediator together with international IDEA in the mediation process, and they have been working with political parties, civil societies, and other relevant stakeholders. Progress has been made so far as political parties have reached consensus on all the issues except the issue of retroactivity of the current presidential term. Another issue that has arisen is how the amendments of the consensus issues should be carried out. The two options circulated at the moment is for either the Ministry of Justice to update the draft before sending to the National Assembly, or for the draft to be sent to the National Assembly as its current form and then subsequently updated at that level. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Do you have any supplement?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I indicated in my question, the process stalled in these very chambers, and this is ultimately where it is supposed to come. Would it not have been prudent for the executive to bring it back to this assembly where it stalled so that we'll find a way out?
Thank you, Honorable Member for Banjul North. I think if you look at the last sentence of the statement sent in by the Attorney General, it reads, the two options currently being considered is either one for the Ministry of Justice update the draft before sending to the National Assembly, or for the draft to be sent to the National Assembly in its current form, where it can be updated. So I want to believe that these two issues are being considered at that level, and hopefully a decision will be reached on that.
Still have enough.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, considering that time is really not on our side, and we are currently sitting.
We are?
We are currently sitting.
Yes.
And I guess this is the last sitting that is providing the window of opportunity for this stall process to be salvaged. Can you tell us definitively whether it is coming for this session?
Well, let me not be definite. It's always difficult to be definite when it comes to policy implementation and formulation, but I want to believe that the Attorney General's chambers will take this comment very seriously and then provide the necessary intervention. The lawyer sent in is taking good note of all those concerns, and hopefully engagement will commence on that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Minister explain? He said that the political parties have arrived at all the issues except the retroactivity. Can you elaborate further? What are the issues that they did not agree on the retroactivity of the current term?
Well, the briefing that we got even at the executive level was that most of the contentious issues that were part of the debate here and also outside were agreed to among the political parties that were part of the discussions, that were part of the His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan initiative. One sticking issue that consensus could not be reached on is the retroactive clause. And that, as indicated in the reply, is still a sticking issue. How what?
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't know. I guess some of the political parties want to insist that it should stay. Others are saying that it should go. Yeah, that's the sticking issue there.
Yes. Thank you very much. Just let's be patient. I have a list. We will come to Central Badibu. The Central Badibu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Yes, the minister did mention of the effort made by Goodluck Jonathan. But now, what is the effort made by the cabinet or the executive to see to it that the draft comes back to the parliament? We want to know the effort made by the executive now.
Thank you so much. The Goodluck Jonathan initiative was part of the broader initiative and effort by the cabinet, and the Attorney General and Minister of Justice was mandated by cabinet to lead that initiative, to work with the key stakeholders on the draft constitution, which also, led to the selection of former President of Nigeria and the IDEA to support the local process. So government is is very much involved through commitment to provided to the Attorney General and also the IDEA and the Goodluck Jonathan initiative.
Yes, Serakunda.
Honorable Speaker, I hear the Honorable Minister talk about a draft constitution being brought to an assembly. Would the Honorable Minister accept that this assembly does not consider drafts, consider bills? And would he also take note of the fact that when a matter has already been disposed of in this assembly, a procedure is necessary to rescind a decision taken before the matter is also considered? So how do they hope to bring this matter before the assembly again? Is there already a knowledge base for that?
Thank you, Honorable Member for Serakunda. Unfortunately, these are technical legal issues that I may not have knowledge on. The Attorney General will be duly informed to know whether it is a draft bill that is coming to accompany the draft constitution or any other form. But he will be duly informed and advice will be given to him, and then hopefully he will provide that oral answer through his technicians present here.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Member for Talinding.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Honorable Minister, will your ministry be in a position to provide this august body with the submission of all political parties during their engagement with the former President Goodluck Jonathan and CSOs?
Okay, I've taken note of that, and definitely that will be forwarded to the Ministry of Justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you highlighted the contentious issues surrounding the then draft constitution, and you cited political parties or actors not compromising the retroactive clause for one reason or the other. But the cabinet also have a great role to play. What exactly is the position of the cabinet in relation to the retroactive clause?
Well, as a government, our position on a number of issues, including the retroactive clause, was sent to the CRC. This is, of course, public knowledge. It is viewed as something that is like kind of in conformity with a ruling that took place here in this country based on our level of knowledge on law, that during the student riots here in April 2000, a matter was taken before the law courts of this country for interpretation, where the government actually wanted to, immunize. They wanted to, I think, pass a law that will make it impossible, that will make it difficult for certain people named in human rights abuses to be prosecuted. Yes, yeah, the indemnity bill. Yeah, indemnify. And this matter was contested by someone who actually was seen to be affected. And the courts actually disagreed that when an actual process is on, you cannot bring in an indemnity clause to protect that particular action. And this, our action, our objection was based on this existing ruling of the courts, which to our knowledge has not been contested and set aside. So therefore, I think a government needs to be seen to be consistent on implementing policies and laws that are in line with the judgments of the law courts.
Yes, thank you very much, and that brings us to the end of the supplementary questions on this question. We've exhausted the list 7. So we're moving on to question number 74 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the high cost of house rent in the Greater Banjul area is suffocating the low and medium income families. Would the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice inform this August Assembly whether the government has any plans to regulate the subsector by introducing a rent control bill that makes rent of proper houses affordable to the average families?
Thank you, Honorable Member for Banjul North. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Justice is equally concerned with the issue of the hike in house rents. The issue of rent is a cross-cutting social and economic issue. As such, we believe there has to be broad consultation with key government ministries, such as the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs and the Ministry of Lands and Local Government. The Ministry of Justice will consult these key stakeholders and come up with recommendations to Cabinet that could potentially lead to the preparation of a rent control bill. My ministry will also be, as a ministry, we also believe that the control of rent cannot be done in isolation or by solely through the introduction of a control legislation. There is a need to engage the community, especially landlords and ladies, and the local councils to understand the factors driving up rent and to ascertain whether non-legislative measures can be embarked upon first or parallel to any legislative measures. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, in the absence of legislative measures, what sort of measures do you have in mind that the executive would come up with in terms of really assisting those that are, as I indicate, suffocating as a result of high rent that is charged for houses that are not even of quality?
I'm not very much affair with all the process, but I do know that even at the level of the Ministry of Regional Government, they are coming up, I think, with a bill to regulate, the real estate agencies, some of which actually are also renting out properties. How this will cover the costing and also rent price controls, I am not sure, but I have taken note of this question, and I will definitely ask the relevant ministries whether they can provide the answers to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, is it also not possible for government to consider coming up with incentives in terms of control? Of course, control is necessary, but since the bill is not before us, or you have not indicated when it is going to come before the Assembly, is it also possible for government to consider incentives to enable landlords, landladies to offer their houses at a very reasonable cost to tenants, and also tax for those that do not want to be reasonable? High tax, I mean.
I don't know whether high taxes will solve the problem, because it can also drive the prices up. I know that there is currently a tax framework on rented properties that reach certain amounts. Just recently, I heard the GRA on the media, actually, different radios and TV stations, sensitizing landlords and ladies about, their rent, their tax obligations collected on rent. But let me say, in general and in broad terms, anything that will ease the conditions of the people of this country, that is the priority of the government of the Gambia, and that's what we are working towards on.
Honorable Member for Tumana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Minister, would the government be willing to enforce the Rent Act in order to salvage the low-income earners in this country from some of the irregularities happening?
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Tumana. If there is already a law regulating rent in this country, I see no reason why government will not enforce it. I mean, in fact, I do know that there is a rent tribunal that actually sits at the various municipalities. They have been hearing cases of, disputes or non-compliance, when it comes to rentage of properties. And I think they've been doing a phenomenal job. Whether that is enough is something that I think this country and the National Assembly needs to look at to see what can be done to improve on the situation.
Thank you very much, Serekunda West.
Speaker, mine is related to Tumana. I was just going to say, would it not make life easy for the ministry to use the Rent Act and amend that instead of coming with a fresh bill? Thank you.
Yeah, these are all very good considerations, and I'm sure the Ministry of Justice would not be averse to those things.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, are you aware that some house owners ask in foreign currencies? If yes, what's going to be the government position in that issue?
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. I have been hearing it. I have no evidence to that effect, but it will be unfortunate that people ask tenants to pay in foreign currency. The legal tender in this country is the dalasi, and we encourage everyone to deal with fellow Gambians that are unfortunate to have their own compounds to ask in our local tender. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kantora, sorry, it's not around. Okay, then I'll give the floor to Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, wouldn't it be prudent to charge the housing institutions of the state to actually invest largely into low-cost housing and thus direct the housing market towards greater sensitivity to the needs of the poor? Wouldn't that be the best approach to take?
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Serekunda. In fact, this is the approach that government considers as the best option to some of these problems. That being a market economy, sometimes it's difficult to impose certain things, but the solution can be found through the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, which now has, I think, land in different parts of the country. And they have been doing some expansion over the years, but we are made to understand that the new strategic plan is actually directing towards that drive, where low-cost housing can be built for Gambians in this country at affordable prices also, but also at favorable terms if it is to be, actually leased.
Kantora, you nearly missed your chance because I had already given it out.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for that generosity. Yes, I want to ask, because long-term plan for government to really invest in housing, that might be, I don't know whether it's asked in my absence. Is that asked? Okay, then I withdraw. Thank you very much.
Questions for the Honorable Minister on behalf of the Minister for Justice. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the questions provided. You're now released. You can go. Clerk, may we proceed with the next ministry? Thank you.
Questions for oral answers by the Honorable Minister for Agriculture.
Thank you. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Agriculture by Honorable members for oral reply. Thank you. Question number 102 of 2020 by the Honorable Member for Kantora.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. But permit me, I'll be chipping in and chipping out as well. Have pressing issues. Honourable Speaker, can the Honourable Minister for Agriculture inform this August Assembly of the steps taken to regain the occupied mixed farming centre in Kantura constituency since Azum office?
Honourable Speaker, the Army and other security apparatus occupied the mixed farming centres for nearly 5 consecutive years. The mixed farming centre is a learning centre for farmers to learn and adopt new farming techniques to boost production and productivity. However, the stores is tampered and transferred into a dormitory. The ATIs was instructed by the village alcalo to leave the center. Furthermore, Ministry of Agriculture will engage the Ministry of Interior in a dialogue to come up with lasting solution of regaining the mixed farming center, since the mixed farming center is a very important for our extension delivery system.
Thank you. Kantora, you need any clarification?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for those answers. Would you also consider, because now that it's occupied, to ask the villagers to relocate to identify another place suitable for such activities, if in case negotiation fails?
Thank you very much. We will still engage the Minister of Interior. If at all there is no possibility, we will see how best we can reallocate the mixed farming center.
Honorable, you're fine. Okay, Honorable Member for Tumana.
Yes, thank you, Honorable, again. Honorable Speaker, how soon would you engage the Interior Minister, since Tumana constituency is without a mixed farming center and we rely on Fatou and Giroba? So if Fatou is no more, then that will be hardship on us.
Thank you very much. As soon as possible, I will engage the Interior Minister. It is noted.
Thank you. Any more supplementary questions on that? Okay, thank you. Then we move over to question number 103 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Agriculture inform this August Assembly if there are plans to provide cattle drinking points for the people of Pachonki, considering the number of cattle found in that locality?
Honorable Speaker, this year there is no plan to provide livestock drinking facility for Pachonki. However, work is already being done to provide livestock drinking points in 2 communities, Renuru and Demfai, within the Sami constituency. Through the small ruminant project and the Adapting Agriculture for Climate Change project, respectively. It is worth noting that the medium to long-term plans is to have livestock drinking points in every community with a population of more than 2,000 heads of cattle. Livestock population in Pachonki from the DLS latest records stand at 1,900 heads of cattle and about 1,500 sheep and goods. Inadequacy of funds is the limiting factor, and hence the need to augment the Ministry of Agriculture budget, especially its livestock component under the Department of Livestock Services. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, what criteria did your ministry use to identify communities to have these drinking points?
The criteria we use to identify these drinking points is where you have the highest animal population. That's the most criteria we use.
Yes?
Honorable Speaker, as I earlier stated, if you look at Pachonki, there are about 35 huts. But if you go there, the communities take it upon themselves to provide a generator. What is the ministry doing with the cattle tax?
Thank you very much. Are you talking about cattle trucks or taps? Tax. Thank you very much. As I mentioned before, as a ministry, we are planning so that at least every community in this country with higher population of animals will provide the drinking points. And as mentioned by you, you said the cattle tax, it is noted, and I will make a follow-up with my Department of Livestock Services.
Honorable members, any supplementary questions on that? No? Okay, we move on. We have question number 104 of 2020, but I'm not sure if Honorable Member for Nyamina West has given any authorities. This should be submitted so that we will know. See, but if it is not submitted,
he has submitted to the office, the table office.
question number 104 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Nyamina West, and his given authority have been made to understand to the Honorable Member for Jara Central to read his question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Agriculture consider the vast fertile land in Nyamina West constituency Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, considering the vast fertile land in Nyamina West constituency, can the Honorable Minister for Agriculture inform this August Assembly whether Nyamina West is part of the route project? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, yes, Nyamina West constituency is part of the 39 districts selected to benefit from the route project. The project team is developing a sensitization campaign to inform the target population on how to request for the project assistance.
Any supplementary questions for him? No? You have? Yes, go ahead.
No supplementary.
Okay. Honorable members, any supplementary? Yes, Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Honorable Minister, in your answers, you mentioned route project has 39 constituencies. Can you please provide us the list of that 39 constituencies?
Thank you very much. If you can get me right, I said 39 districts.
Yeah,
and I will also, we can provide that list to you.
Yes, Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just want to find out from the Honorable Minister whether this 39 district has been informed about the project being their area to avoid this kind of questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. National sensitization and the regional sensitization have been done at regional level, and all districts represented, they must have been informed.
Any more? No? Okay, then we proceed. Sorry? Serakunda. He doesn't raise his tax very high.
Honorable Speaker, since the questioner is talking about fertile land in Nyamina West, and agriculture deals with both animal husbandry and farming, could we have an understanding whether the proper demarcation is done in the investment that is going to be made to ensure that there is a balance between livestock and actual farming in the implementation of the project?
As you mentioned, if you talk about fertile land, that means crop production. Because for animal production, that one, even you don't have fertile land, I don't think it's so important. But for crops, it's important to have that. Yeah, there should be a boundary, because anywhere you have animals and the crops, there should be a boundary. So it has been put into consideration.
Thank you. Nominated member, Seka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. I want to ask the Honorable Minister that most of the projects in agriculture, sometimes I don't know what happened, but it does not go as we want it to be. But have you conducted feasible studies to make sure that all these projects will go as we like? And then the other thing you say, the animals don't like fertile land, but those grasses not grow in fertile lands so that we'll be able to feed the animals.
Thank you very much. I think if you talk about fertile land, I'm going to start with that. That one is purely for crops. So for the animals, yes, you can grow grasses, but where you have animals, because animals, they even produce organic manure, you can use the organic manure to fertile that land, and then you can also grow your grasses. So it's a two different thing. Because for the crops, you need fertile land, then you manure it to have high yield. So it's quite different from animal and crop. Yeah, you talk about sustainability of the project. I always want to assure you that these new projects, they will be sustained. And the proper sustainability plans have been set. And the proper assessment also has been done. So be rest assured that all these projects will be sustained. Thank you.
Central Badibu.
Anyway, Honorable Minister, will you confirm that Nyamina, is it Nyamina West, is it a fertile land? Is the land fertile?
Well, it's a very important question, because in this country we have different types of soils. So presently the fertile land he is mentioning, even Nyamina, it might have different soils. So I cannot ascertain you that the land you are mentioning is fertile unless I do soil analysis.
Any more honorable members before we move on to the next question? Yes, Ilyasa.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My question is, out of the 39 districts, is Obaba district among?
Thank you very much, Honorable. I always want to mention to you that Upper Badibu benefited a lot from the Ministry of Agriculture. I can even name you the communities who benefited. Because I will start with the gardens. Even the village you came from, they have a very good garden. If you go to Kachang, they have 5-hectare garden. If you go to Al-Kalikunda, they have 5-hectare garden. If you go to India, they have 5-hectare garden. And if you go to Jajari, the same thing. So, as agricultural projects, all the rural areas, 39 districts, they will benefit from this project.
What is it called? I was expecting that Sami and Nyani would raise that as usual. They will always ask for their shares. Thank you. Question number 105 is of 2021. Just a second, yes, 105, 2021. By the Honorable Member for Nyamina West again. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Agriculture provide this August Assembly with the detailed project description of NANA, that is National Nutrition Agency, roads to the rice fields currently under construction in Nyamina West? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform this August gathering and my honorable member of Nyamina West that none of my projects has constructed roads from Nana to the rice fields. And I want to make a point of correction. It's not a National Nutrition Agency, but it's Nanaba cluster. It's a village called Nanaba.
Honorable, do you have any supplementary questions?
No, ma.
No, thank you. Yes, Nyamina East, supplementary.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, by way of extension, you are aware of the road construction between Kudang to Bani, and you promised me or the August Assembly that before the rainy season, this will be completed, to no avail. Why?
Well, I think you quoted me wrongly. I told you that it will be completed, but I didn't give you the timeline. Yeah, so, but I know it will be completed. Be rest assured that it will be completed.
Thank you. Yes, Nyani.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, so how soon will it be commenced? Because still now the road is not started.
Thank you very much for that, because it's a road which you not that I inherited it, and I'm still engaging those people who are responsible, because as the select committee member for agriculture, I think you know it very well. I'm still making a follow-up, and I will ensure that these roads are completed.
Okay, Central Badibu, and then Talindi.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, I think the same road projects under your ministry, I know you have inherited them. Bani, Salikenyan, Jabakunda is still in a serious condition. The culverts that they have started constructing are not completed. The contractor is nowhere to be found. Can you inform the August Garden about the status?
I think I will just use my discretion to allow that, but actually the question is not related to this. I know it deals, no, let us be fair, it deals with roads from, is it Nyamina, east and west. But really there was no question on Nyabakunda. But as I said, I will use my discretion just to allow it. But be rest assured that it's all part of it. Yes, Honorable Minister, maybe you can update them on that.
Thank you very much. As I mentioned before, still now we are making a follow-up with that contractor, because it took longer than unnecessary. We might reallocate the contract again so that we can fast-track the contract. Yes.
Yes, Talindi.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, during your answer, you make mention of the projects, roads that were provided within the Nyamina West constituency. Do you have any plan in place to turn into the Greater Banjul area? Because I have a rice field at Talending also, and since you came into office, my constituency didn't benefit any project from your.
Thank you very much. It's a vital question. But I want to advise you that, can you write a request? Because at the moment we have Urban Agriculture Directorate, so that you can submit your request. Because we deal through the regional directors. They're the people who normally identify intervention sites.
Thank you, Jara West.
Thank you, ma'am. Going by the question, I think the questionnaire is asking the detailed project description. Sorry?
supplementary.
That is the genesis of the question. Whether it's completed or not, can he get the project description?
What I'm trying to draw your attention to is that I don't think it is the prerogative of the honorable member to direct the minister to respond to another question. If you have a supplementary question, you need clarification, you are at liberty to do so, but allow the other honorable members to say that my question has not been adequately responded to.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I have point of observation. I cannot provide a project description when there is no project.
Yes, any more supplementary questions on this one? Okay. Then we move over to question number 106 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Agriculture inform this August Assembly if there are plans to provide drinking points for cattle in Central Badibu, particularly the Fula communities that are predominantly herdsmen?
Honorable Speaker, yes, there are plans to establish a water drinking facility in Central Badibu. This is to be located in Dobo through the Adapting Agriculture to Climate Change project.
Thank you very much for that information. Did you make proper assessment of Central Badibu? Because Dobo, where Dobo falls, and the communities that are inside, so hope they will be able to get access to the water that you are providing to the community of Dobo.
Thank you very much. I know my technician, they did a proper assessment. That's why Dobo has been identified as a drinking point.
Supplementary questions, honorable members? Yes, Ilyasa.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My Honorable Minister, as far as Central and Upper they are twins, is there any plan for Upper Badibu for drinking water, please?
Honorable, I mentioned it earlier. I said 39 districts will benefit from the routes. That one is automatic. But if you come to the drinking points, proper selection has been done. And for that, I think I will provide the National Assembly with the list so that everybody will know. Yeah, I will do that. Yes.
Any more? Any further supplementary questions? No? Okay, thank you. Then we move over to question number 107 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Lower Fuladu West. Lower Fuladu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, farmers in the Jahali Pachat project are complaining of the high cost of plowing and a plot costing $1,000 to $2,500. Can the Honorable Minister for Agriculture inform this August Assembly the possible solution to reduce the cost of plowing considering the effect of COVID-19 on farmers' earning capacity during weekly lumos? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to inform the Honorable Member of Lower Badibu, or Lower Fuladu West constituency and other members that the price variance is because there are two kinds of field operation. Number one, plowing using the disc harrow. Number two, field leveling using the rotavator. Different variables are taken into consideration when calculating the cost of a tillage operation, plowing, harrowing, and rotavator tillage. Some of these variables include level of fuel consumption, size of the field to be tilled, hourly wages of the operator, types of operation, field condition that has an influence on the duration of operation, the ecology, lowland or upland, among others. To plow 0.5 hectares in lowland in Jahali Pacha rice growing perimeters, in waterlogging condition, a tractor consumes 10 liters of diesel. The cost of diesel per liter fluctuates between $44.14 and $50.64 from January to April. This alone is approximately 50% of the charges for the operation, $441.4 to $506.4. Other variables such as hourly wage of the operator, the hourly depreciation of services, parts, filter, and the lubricants, engine oil, and the distance to the field, when put together and costed, it leaves a very little or no profit for the ministry and its private partner. In the case of using a rotavator tillage, a tractor consumes 20 liters of diesel per 0.5 hectare. When all the variables are computed and subtracted from the cost charge for the operation, only a marginal profit remains. From the above assertion, the cost stipulated by the ministry is in fact to help the farmers have access to tillage services at the rate that provides minimal or sometimes no profit for the ministry under its private partner. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, any supplementary?
Yes, Honorable Minister, don't you think that farmers could also benefit from COVID-19 funds so that they can address some of these challenges that they are facing on their farms?
Thank you very much for that question. As a ministry, we don't provide any funds, cash, but we support farmers with inputs, seeds and fertilizer as agriculture.
Yes, no. Lower Fuladu, yes, okay, thank you. Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, is there any policy or regulation guiding this field operation? If yes, is this policy or regulation made known to the farmers through sensitization to avert these complaints?
Thank you very much. Since I took office, I didn't found any mechanization policy, but at the moment we are developing a mechanization policy. I know when we are ready for validation, the National Assembly members will be invited.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The issue highlighted is the actual investment in farming. And the Minister has highlighted the reasons why, the cost. Is this cost also borne when it comes to buying the crops of the farmer, so that what is invested is actually paid for in the actual pricing? Is there any pricing policy that takes into consideration this cost?
Thank you very much. As I stand here, it actually paid, because if you look at the plowing cost, we even reduce it, because 0.5 hectares for ordinary plowing, it was far more than $1,000. But because of this COVID, we are able to reduce it to $1,000. But when you are using the ordinary plow, but a rotavator, that one, the cost is high. That's why we charge $2,500. So that $2,500 the amount of fuel the rotavator use is far more than the ordinary one. So it's really put into consideration, because if you use rotavator, you save labor. You are not going to level your land again, because the rotavator will plow and it will level it once. So it's just a matter of you to enter and plant. So there are differences. So it pays back.
Member for Serekunda, I think we may not necessarily exhaust the limit, the 7 maximum. So let's just allow Janjambure, and then we'll come back to you and maybe Nyamina as well, just to keep the equilibrium.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, with the launching of the 50 tractors recently, and assuming that some would be taken to Sabo, would this help in reducing the cost of plowing and the availability on time?
Thank you very much. I know the tractors will be available on time, especially around Sabo, because already 10 has been deployed since during the dry season. And the cost also will consider. I will discuss with my team so that to see to it that it will be reduced.
Any further questions from honorable members? Okay, then I will take Yamina again and Serekunda. Yeah, okay. Okay, honorable member for Serekunda.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I don't think the Honorable Minister maybe got me in what I was trying to say. I'm emphasizing that she has established the reason for the rising cost in plowing and the different instruments used that warrants that cost. I'm asking whether in the pricing policy of the crop, whether this cost is taken into consideration. Is there any pricing policy that will be taken into consideration when you determine the cost of the ground, or so any rice, etc., so that the person gets back what is invested? If not, would they be willing to put that into consideration rather than just look at the market price?
At the moment, we don't have any pricing cost for the rice at field level, but I know we'll put it into consideration. But I know farmers, they gain profit after using this plowing because their yields normally increase.
Thank you. Any more questions from honorable members? No? Thank you very much. Question number 108 of 2021 by the honorable member for Basse.
Honorable Speaker, can the Minister for Agriculture inform this August Assembly the level of implementation of the $80 million routes project and the communities that are benefiting from it in URR?
Madam Speaker, recruitment of the project team is completed. Both the national and the regional launching have been successfully done. Regional technical committee are set up in all the regions of the country and conducted their first meeting. The National Steering Committee has been set up and the first meeting has been held. Routes beneficiary in URR, Madam Speaker, the routes project is targeting all the districts in URR: Jimara, Basse, Tumanna, Kantora, Wuli East, Wuli West, and Sandu. All the communities are targeted. But may I inform my honorable member that support is based on a demand-driven approach.
Honorable Speaker, that information is very lovely. All the communities in URR are beneficiaries. He said all the communities in UR, I'm learning from her, all the communities. I know the difference between a community and district. She said all the districts in URR are going to benefit out of this project. Again, she said all the communities in URR. So that means no community in URR is left behind as far as this project is concerned. I want to, Madam Speaker, to clarify, the Honourable Minister to give the clarification.
Yeah, I mentioned all the communities will be beneficiary, but depending on demand-driven. So if you need an intervention, write your request, send to the regional director so that they can be supported.
Madam Speaker, I will now ask the Minister, how did they sensitize the communities about this project and how to demand for this project?
Thank you very much. If you are following the project, there is a regional launching and a national launching. And during the regional launching, all the district, the chief people who are the direct beneficiary for the Ministry of Agriculture, for example, the contact farmers, the elders, the alcalos, and even the chiefs, they were participated in the regional launching. So obviously, the sensitization has been filtered down to district level, to community level. So now, what left is any community who wishes that they have a problem and that they want intervention, I would just advise, let them make their request, let them write a written request and send it to the coordinators or the regional directors so that they can put it in the file. So that's why I said it's a demand-driven project. So if at all we don't know your problem, we cannot address it.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your update, you did indicate that the regional technical committees are all set up. Can you inform this August Assembly the composition of the regional technical committees and their terms of references?
Thank you very much. I know the TAG members at the regional offices because you have the multidisciplinary tax members comprises of different institutions. They are part of that committee. So because anything you want to take it to the regional level, the entry point is the regional governor's office with the TAG members on the ground, including our agricultural directors.
Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you did emphasize that all the communities or constituencies within the URR will benefit from this project. By way of extension, will I be correct to say that the same thing will apply to other districts, precisely Nyamina East, if I may ask?
Thank you very much for that question. I still buttress that it's a demand-driven project. So if you wish that your community, they need activity, write to the regional level so that their request will be on the file because it's a demand-driven project.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader, Honourable Member for Gombo South.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. My question, part of my question was asked by the member for Brikama North. But I want the Honourable Minister to give us the list of the regional technical committees that are set up for this project. The technical advisory committees at the regional level are the representatives of all the departments, agencies, and ministries in the region. So if we want to give that responsibility to the technical advisory committee to run a project, there will be duplication of efforts and coordination will become a problem. So please, we want you to give us the breakdown of the people or the various members of this regional committee set up for the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Your points are noted, and certainly we will provide the list. Yeah.
Thank you. Brikama South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, are you telling me all the technical advisory committee members and multidisciplinary facilitation team members are part of this regional technical team? Because I want to believe that this team the teams are diverse, not completely agricultural bias.
Thank you very much. Your point is important. Anything related to agriculture in that region, or any member who has direct benefit to agriculture, obviously will be part of the technical committee. Because if you mention Minister of Health, maybe that one will not be vital to the TAC committee. So we are looking into the vital sectors who are supposed to be the TAC members.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, I would have thought that before targeting a community, you would have already done your assessment to know whether that community actually needs the roots project. But now, if all communities are targeted and you are only sitting down and waiting for them to come and write without the proper sensitization, would that not be a problem? Because if a community does not know that they are being targeted by the project, and what do they need? So there is something clumsy there, because there is something that should be done before targeting them. That's my thinking. Each community must be targeted for a reason. What is that reason? So I am really confused by this.
Don't be confused, because this project is for the rural Gambian farmers. So I will mention that the communities are all beneficiaries, but in a demand-driven. If communities submit their requests, assessment will be done. We need to make a follow-up and do proper assessment. But even this project, before the project comes, there are project formulations. There are proper assessment before the project. So obviously, any project going to a community, there will be proper assessment. Even if you send your request, further assessment will be done.
Thank you very much. I think we have exhausted our list. We've had 7, yes, we have 7 supplementary questions in total. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, for the answers provided to this August Assembly. And honorable members, I equally thank you for your cooperation during the session. Yes, honorable member for Upper Salum, before before I make the announcement.
Yes.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have a motion under Section 53 of Clause 53, Subclause K, and also to be guided by Standing Order 103, Subclause 13. And the motion is to allow the FPAC and the PEC committees to sit during the session to complete our work on the Anti-Corruption Bill 2019 and also on the Pensions Bill, which is at the tail end of our meetings. So we need to conclude that so that we can present the report this session. So we are raising a motion to allow these committees to continue to work during the session as indicated in Clause 103, Subclause 13 of our standing orders.
Honorable members, there's a motion for permission from the floor for FPAC and PEC to sit during the session to finish off 2 bills that have been referred to the joint committee. There's a motion. Let's follow the procedure. Sorry.
Correction. PEC is not part of anything that deals with anti-corruption. We are not part of that at all.
The pensions.
Yeah,
is it the service, whatever?
Yes.
He mentioned the service.
Yeah, well, your mentioning of the 2, that's what I'm saying, is the pensions bill. Yeah.
FPAC together. There's a motion on the floor to allow the joint committee to complete the work. Honorable Member for Salum, Upper Salum, you moved your motion, so we're proceeding with it to see if it will be passed or not. Sorry, there's a motion on the floor for the joint committee to be allowed to continue their work during the session to complete whatever they have left so that they can finalize their reports. Now, I'm calling for secondment. Any seconder to the motion? Yes, Wooly West?
Second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that permission be granted to the Joint Committee of FPAC and PEC to sit during the session to complete the two bills referred to in the motion. Those in favor, please say aye. I can't hear. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
Can we take a vote? Because I cannot decide. Those in favor, can you raise your tag so that we'll count the votes? Please count the votes. Can you help to count? No. I think I will take the voice count. Yes. The ayes have it. Thank you. The ayes have it.
Record the no votes. We want to be on record.
Yeah, the noes. Raise your tags. How many? No, the noes. Those not in favor. Yes, raise your tags. Yes. So I think the ayes have it. Thank you. On a more serious note. Before adjourning the sitting, I want to put this question. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned till Thursday, till Thursday the 17th of June, 2021 at 10 a.m. Those in favor, please say aye.
No.
Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The Assembly now stands adjourned till Thursday, the 17th of June, 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt. And I thank you all for your cooperation.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Wow. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loolu lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin ngeen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi defee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw fii ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skin care products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skin care mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner, Kiwi Eye, the whole range, Lighten Up Gold, Tomatine. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on and on. Lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox. Skincare plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes, you know, fragrances, men's shirts, accessories. We do dresses as well. We do blouses. I mean, we do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème yu picca boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii.
Love, love, love like fire. Bring my yoboguma fire. Love, 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 love like fire.
Agada di.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada di.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mona sota Gambia jang.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kono kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma ni domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma kumfa kendol sotale di.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
baraka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Baraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship, Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see that.